Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mindset Makeover with myself and my coach TSPice. All right, we're going to be on with you guys tonight. We're chatting, we're having conversations in front of you, with you, however you want it to go. If you actually want to chat with us, you can send us, some questions in the chat box, and we're going to be talking about mindset. Mindset, oh my gosh, it's one of those things that it's it's there all the time. It's something we have to focus on. We have to make sure that we're making sense out of it every single step of the way. So I'm waiting for my guest to get on, and right here he is, and we're gonna get it started. All right, good evening,
Good evening.
Coach T Spice in the building.
In the building, live and direct. You already know what time it is.
Yes, what you got there? You got some microphones and stuff?
Oh yeah, you know me. You got the little
Happening?
setup, got the little Yeti. You know what I'm saying? A little pop filter, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we are here talking about mindset, guys. Now, listen, before we start, congratulations! Oh my gosh. Okay. Why am I telling him congratulations, guys? This is a newly wed man.
Yes, indeed.
Oh my God. How does it feel?
Feels great. I've never been more sure of anything in my life. So it's heaven all around me.
Listen, when it's like that, that is like what makes it work.
Right.
Because, when it comes to marriage, no one should make you, force you, coerce you, any of those words. When it's something that you really want and you actually do it because you want to, man, that's it. That's all you need.
That's the thing. Yeah. We've prioritized inspiration over obligation, right? So like that's the foundation of our relationship, and our number one focus is just communication. Realizing and knowing that we are two different people with two different minds. No matter how well we get along, we get to be humans, right? And we get to learn, and we get to grow, and we get to you know witness each other on that journey, right? So we don't put too much constraints on one another. That turns it into a job, right? So I'm excited that it worked out that way, because I know that it's not common. We practice something called inspired monogamy at first, and I know that a lot of people was like, what are you, in an open relationship? And no, we got a whole story behind that, but I think that is gonna
What? Inspired monogamy? What?
I can't just say that and then not talk about it.
You can't do that. You cannot be doing that.
So inspired monogamy, I guess in short, right, was this idea that came to me that was like, kind of an experiment. Like, what happens when you prioritize inspiration to obligation, which means that I'm not going to promise you, who I'm going to be, right? I can't tell you who I'm going to be in 5 years, right? I didn't know I was going to be this person 5 years ago. There's certain things that don't change, but in the moment, I would like to have the freedom and the allowance to just communicate who I am, express myself, and be free in that way. So instead of committing to an unconditional relationship, I committed to communication, right? So yeah, I believe that we kind of got it flipped upside down. We have unconditional relationships and conditional love. Like, I only love you if you hit A, B, C, X, Y, Z, right? But I'm gonna stay with you regardless of if I love you or not. That turns into a dungeon real quick. Instead, we switch it up. We say, hey, I may or may not be with you for the rest of my life. Obviously, we get married. The intention is to stay with each other for the rest of our lives. But obviously, the reality is there are options. There is, a divorce option. There are other people. You aren't the only person on the planet. As much as I love you, like, let's just keep it real. There are other people out there. I'm with you because I choose to be with you, because I want to be with you, right? And I think that even though we're popping the bubble on one fantasy, right? Oh, he only has eyes for me, and I'm the only attractive person. We pop the bubble on that, but we get to party and dance in something that's more real. Like if there is somebody more attractive, we can talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Not, I didn't mean more attractive, but somebody that is, you know, attractive as well. There's nothing we can't talk about, is my point. And I think that that leads to a more long-standing, healthy, open, honest relationship.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. And I really do feel like all of what you said is all mindset. It's what you decide that it's going to be before you really delve in, and having these conversations in advance are just beautiful. And that part that you were talking about just now, that last part about encountering anyone else that looks beautiful or handsome for the guy or whatever, those things are real, but it's just a look. It's
Right.
just a person passing by.
Mm-hmm.
So if two people in a relationship can express that someone looks nice, that walks by, male or female, and you can talk about it instead of like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
somebody gets slapped. Instead of
Mm-hmm.
that, like, express that, oh, they look nice. I like, something about them or whatever. And it makes for a better relationship where what you see is, and it's also open, and you get to say that this is what you feel about the situation at the time, not that you want the person, you just
Right.
think they look nice and that's it. And that can be just it. Like, people look nice all the time. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean you want to sleep with them, it doesn't mean you're going to
Right.
leave with them, it doesn't mean anything, it just means they look nice.
Right. Right.
Jeez.
And I think the kicker is that, you know how we have this want what you can't have type of thing, especially after you're in a relationship for so long. I think what's different about our relationship is that we make it known that no, you can have that. You can have that. You can do that. I'm not gonna guarantee that I'm gonna be here when you get back. You know, we'll talk about that. But I'm not gonna say that, I'm putting you in a cage to where you can't look, you can't be interested, you can't have a conversation, you can't all of these things. I'm pretty much setting the stage for being chosen. Like you can't be chosen if you're the only option.
Mm, wow.
Right, and coming to terms with that, I think is scary for a lot of people, but I think that a lot of us let our insecurities get the best of us to where we want to feel like the only option, and then we cause our partner to be in a position where they have to deal with a lot of these emotions on their own. They don't feel the safe space to come to you and express these things, get it off their chest, work through it, let it float away or do whatever it needs to do. They suppress it, therefore they hold on to it longer, right? It pops up and they're just like, after a while it keeps popping up, they're like, you know what, I'm gonna just go ahead on and see what that's about.
Mm.
And you're not in the mix, you're not, is behind your back, right? And we want to avoid that. So instead of being super insecure, super protective up front, we want to create a safe space for full expression.
And you just said let your insecurities get the best of you. And the thing is, a lot of people have insecurities. Even the loudest people on the earth have some insecurities. Everyone does. It's just a matter of what you do with it and how you would actually express that. And that's what get people in a lot of trouble sometimes. Your insecurities, literally, they show up in ways that most people don't expect from it. Like, they're trying to hide it, but it still comes up. So you
Right.
just have to accept your own insecurities and work through them.
Yep. Yep. One
Yeah.
thing, that's really helpful for us in communication is a simple statement. It's just, hey, I got something coming up for me, right? And it's a way to take full responsibility for my feelings without projecting it or saying, oh, I feel this way because you're making me feel this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's when this happens, this is what's happening within me. This is my experience. I'm taking ownership for it, full ownership, but I want to communicate with you just to make you aware of what's going on. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not your fault. It's not your this. It's not your that. Sure, something you may have done may have triggered it, but the way I see it, that's only 10% of the equation anyway. 90% is how I'm going to react to it, how I process the information, And that's the type of communication that we have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. Keep it up. That's what makes for a great relationship, communication. And if without it, it just doesn't work. So I love that you guys are walking into it like this, because also there's a baby coming. There's a baby on the way too. So listen, um, the communication between the parents is extremely important. And then along comes a baby. So no matter how anyone's journey goes, when there's great communication amongst those parents, it always is always there, you know, because I have an ex, and you know, we had two children together, and we always had the communication thing going for our children. And that's what makes for powerful parents, because you just know, no one knows the future. I mean, we all hope, wish, and pray that things will go in a way that we see it, but we just don't know. But that communication, and everyone, you know, the mindset thing where you are who you are and you connect to another person, and two people make something even more amazing together. So yeah, it's like, yeah.
Excited stuff.
Mm-hmm,
Excited stuff.
mm-hmm.
Way to kick off the mindset makeover.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys are just joining. We are here. I'll introduce myself and then you can introduce yourself. So I'm Coach Tomeka James. I'm a life and business coach. I love, love, love helping you guys with seeing who you really are so that you can be who you really need to be. I help you to plan, strategize, and organize. So that's my coaching framework, PSO, plan, strategize, and organize. I I niche down actually to helping you to build your course, because who you really are, you want to share yourself with the world once you figure that out. And you probably want to be able to monetize your knowledge. So that's what I help you to do. So all of that in a ball is who I am and what I bring to the table. All right, over to you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And the energy is so amazing, which is why we connected. And I'm glad that we had the opportunity to do this again, for me seeing your content, because I believe your vibe attracts your tribe. So I'm listening to you introduce yourself, and I'm seeing a lot of overlap, but there's a good reason for that. So I'm Coach TSPice, and I'm a mindset coach, and I'm on a mission to inspire and empower 1 trillion people to live a life by design instead of by default. And the key that I find to living that designer lifestyle, the key that opens that door, is confidence, self-confidence. And the way we build that self-confidence is by developing a deep, meaningful relationship with self. So that's what I do overall with my clientele. And right now, specifically focused on supporting entrepreneurs and mastering their minds so they can maximize their impact and their income.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like that.
Oh yes, I love it, and let me tell you, it's a great interlude to what I would love to chat about first tonight, which is I just did a series of classes this weekend at a huge trade show, Bronner Brothers. I did a class on coaching, and then I did a class on social media. So when I got to the social media class, I do want to talk about the coaching, but right now the social media class, there were some people in the audience who began to talk back to me. So I'm like, well, where are you guys? What do you need? What's going on? What are your questions? So there was a guy in the audience who said there's a female that he follows, and he watches her because she's beautiful, and he understands her. He doesn't want her, but he understands that she's beautiful, and basically that sex sells. Like that's the gist of what he said, right? And I appreciated him saying it. But what it led that back to was him. So he was saying, I watch her for this reason, because she's beautiful, even though I love what she has to offer. So he's now thinking about himself. And he begins to basically, in a nutshell, he didn't say this, but he said it without these words. I don't have all of these muscles. And I'm not the guy with all the muscles. So how do I show up? Because I watch her, because I think she's beautiful. Let's talk about what was going on with what he said.
Mm-hmm. Let's dive in. Let's dive in. So there is, sex sells, and there is a thing that I was actually recently talking about on social media called pretty privilege, right? And it's a real topic that I don't hear anybody talking about, really. And I think women have it more often than men, but men have it too. there's been times where, you know, I jump on a sales call, I jump on a discovery call, right? And the woman that's on the other line of the phone would say, you know, I just got to come clean. I just hopped on this call because you're cute or whatever. I was really attracted to you, and I just wanted conversation from a man and stuff like that. And I don't know, I didn't take it any kind of way. It's like, it is what it is. But I realized at that point that this was a part of, you know, being a personality on social media. I had another client that was like, yeah, I really want to work with you, but I don't want, you know, my attraction to you to kind of get in the way. I'm like, so from experiencing that, you kind of have to play with this energy. And I think that if you can manage it well, then it is a benefit and an asset to anybody who can find their strength. It might not be physical looks, but you want to be attractive in one way or another in your business, right? Especially as a coach. If it's not from what you're saying, it's from your appearance, it's from something, but it needs to have overlap, obviously, with what you offer, right? If you just, you know, I'm going to buy a coach because I like talking to pretty women, like that's dumb. But if it's like, you know, I want a coach and I'm attracted to this person for XYZ reason, whatever that is, then that's a good thing, right? To be in that position. What do you think?
I know people are attracted all day long, and even if one person's attracted to another, that's just what they feel. So it just can stay right there in that box. What I feel about this whole topic is that with this whole sex sells thing, if you don't feel attractive enough as an individual and you understand or believe that sex is what sells, it makes you in your mind believe that you're not enough to be in front of other people. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what it does. Mm-hmm. And it's not true. Right. Because just because you're attracted to someone who's beautiful, that you consider to be beautiful, it doesn't mean that people won't be attracted to you no matter how you look. So I was expressing to them that people are attracted to a lot of different things. So someone may come to watch you, whether it's about your looks or not, because they like what you say, they like how you make them feel, they like the things that you stand for, and it may not be your looks. And then on the other end, I spoke to another person at another time, a long time ago, and they said they know they're not attractive, and they feel like it's a problem when they get in front of people. And I felt so bad because I'm like, it's terrible that you feel this way and you really believe that you can't be in front of people because you're not as attractive as some other people. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's a thing that we have to work through and help people through, because your attraction is not necessarily just this. It's other things.
Yeah. Right. I think that, yeah, both things is one thing we have to look at is that there's many different types of attraction points. Like, you can be attractive for many different reasons other than just physical attraction. And, oh man, don't lose your train of thought. Two was the feeling that you're not attractive. You know, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I know it's cliche. I know a lot of people don't like hearing it. It's just kind of like something you say, but it's also very true. Like, you can't make up what is attractive for somebody else. That's actually selfish. That's robbing them of the ability, the opportunity to find attraction in you how they want to do it, right? And then that's
wait, what you say? You say you're robbing others of the ability to find attraction in you because of how you feel?
Because you already decided, because you already decided I'm not attractive. So now you're robbing them of that opportunity to find whatever attraction they would find in you. And then you're robbing yourself of having that connection, right?
Yeah, because the way that you show up, I mean, you have this energy around you all the time. And if you show up where you are shrinking all the time, people feel that. So, oh my goodness. Now, let's talk about where it really comes from, because this comes from a lot of different places. I mean, there are people who have different facial features that want to change them, body structure, body build, so many different things that makes them feel less than other people, while there's a person that's attracted to that particular thing.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people that are attracted to broad shoulders or opposite of that. And now because you have broad shoulders, you feel like, oh my gosh, nobody's going to like it, but there's someone who loves it.
Right.
So it's hard, but it comes from, I know a lot of people experience these things, especially from childhood, being bullied, even adults saying certain things to children that have stuck with them, that made them feel like this is what they need to carry throughout the rest of their lives. And I just want to apologize to someone who's feeling these things. Apologize for those people who said something to you that made you feel a certain way that's not true. Because
Right.
beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Mm-hmm. To the max. To the max. I think it's also important to broaden your horizons, broaden your perspective on why people talk to you, because especially in the coaching space, right? It's important to not make it about me, make it about you, as the coach, right? Because we're here to serve, right? We're here to show up. And if we're caught in our head, telling ourselves that we're not attractive enough, we're not good enough, we're not this, we're not that, we're focusing on what? Ourselves, instead of focusing on the people that we're meant to help. There's somebody that needs to hear your voice, and how you look has nothing to do with it, right? Because I could name a whole list of people that I don't want to say are physically unattractive, but we have a societal standard, right? And they're not in that societal standard. And they completely blow me away every time they say something, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Completely impress me. I'm dialed in. I'm like, such and such is going live. Let me tap in, because this is a person that I want to be aligned with. I'm overwhelmingly attracted to people for reasons other than physicality.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a shame to see people shoot themselves in the foot based on something that has an effect, but it has little to do in the grand scheme of things with your results, right? You're here to serve.
Yeah. And, this is such a relevant conversation because so many people won't hit the live button because they're worried about their appearance, which really gets in the way of your money. When you're concerned about how you look and you're supposed to be this coach that is literally sharing who you are with the world, because something 9 times out of 10 happened in your life
Mm-hmm.
that put you in position to want to help others to get through that. So now you look at yourself and you say, I'm not as attractive as people want me to be or believe me to be, or whatever the case is. And then you suppress all of the amazingness that you're really put on this earth for. Because things happen for us and not really to us. So all of those things that happened for you led you to being able to be this amazing person for someone else. So I'm just hoping that there are so many people listening right now, and it doesn't matter what you look like. Big nose, big lips, small lips, high cheeks, low cheeks, big eyes, big ears, little ears, big chin, small chin,
We
little
love
forehead. What else? What else we
you.
have?
We love you. You got one big ear, one little ear. I
All of
love
it.
you.
Show up, show up. And you said something a moment ago that I want to touch on too. And sometimes it's a person's voice. Now, when we say voice as a coach, we mean a lot of things. We mean your voice as in your message, like what you actually have to say. That's your voice. But your voice also is the tone and the sound of your voice as well. And some people are literally attracted to your voice, to the way you sound. And I'm going to share that when I was younger, I was in living in the age where we had the phones that you literally could pick up and put to your ear. And it had the cord and all that, right? But with those phones, we were able to put it to our ear, but you could hear your own voice backfiring. Every time you said something, your voice backfired. So it didn't matter what you heard. Like when you hear your voice outside, it's one thing. But when you hear your voice backfiring in a device like that constantly, it does something to you. It did something to me. So when I was younger, I really didn't like my voice. Do you guys know that? You probably wouldn't believe that. I was like, oh, my voice. I really felt that way. Like, seriously, I'm not saying this just to say this. I'm saying it because it's the truth.
Right, right.
And it took a while for me to actually get through that. So if I would have allowed how I felt about my voice backfiring and what I felt about my voice, I wouldn't be here in front of any of you. I wouldn't have been the person that stood on so many hundreds of stages around the world, literally changing lives, if I would have let that get in my way. So I'm just hoping that someone is hearing me say this right now, that I'm telling you that there was a moment in time when I felt like I didn't like my own voice. And I don't even remember when things changed, but I'm glad that they did. I'm glad that I came to the realization that it wasn't something I needed to be concerned about.
Yeah, I resonate with your story in so many ways, especially for your voice, because I actually looked into that because it's so common that we don't like the sound of our voice when it's played back. And the reason that I found was because when you're talking, right, your voice is reverberating through your skull and all this other stuff. It sounds different when you're talking, but when you hear it back, it's like, I sound like that. Oh my God, I hate it. And then that paired with any other insecurity that you have makes it tremendously hard to show up. But I want to invite anybody to do it anyway, because overcoming it is a practice, right? Even if there are tweaks in tonality that you get to make, right? Even if your voice isn't you're not a voice actor or anything like that, you can practice becoming a voice actor. You can practice becoming more comfortable with how you sound and the ideas that you're saying. I know that there's been times when I started doing podcasts, I felt like I didn't even know what I was talking about, but I was talking. I was talking, and then I would hear it back, and I would get feedback, and then things change with practice. So dive in.
I love how you just said that you can practice the tonality of your own voice. So if you do want to make a change in how you sound, you can practice that. So I'm going to share, everything happens for us, right? For real. I said that earlier. So there was a point in my life when I would lose my voice. When I say lose it, I mean like lose my voice for real. Like I would go and I would do public speaking, and by the time I was done, I couldn't actually say a word. So I actually had to go on vocal rest. Like, this is a real thing. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, this actually came as a result of like stress in my life at the time. It was a lot going on. And it was as a result of that I would lose my voice when I spoke. So guess what I had to do? I had to go to speech therapy.
Indeed.
And everything happens for us. Like, I'm telling you. So when I go to speech therapy, they teach me about tonality in the voice. They teach me about raising my voice and being able to raise it and lower it, being able to control how words come out of my mouth and what they sound like. Now, this was just several years back. So yeah, I started like on my voice before then. So I was fine. But at the end of the day, I want everyone to know that there is such a thing as what you said, where you can change what your voice sounds like when you're speaking. And it literally, so I'll do it real quick, like if you guys want to kind of hear it a little bit. Because like my voice is more so low on a regular basis. And if I really want to change it, I will make it more high pitched when I'm speaking if I choose to do so. So let me see. So hello everyone. Welcome. I'm really excited to meet you today. It's just a great opportunity to be able to be in your presence. So I'm not gonna do it too long, okay? So generally my voice is low, but if I want to alter it, I have the opportunity to do so because of something that I learned. So I wanted to share that with you because this mindset stuff that we're talking about, how you feel about who you are and how you move in the world, you can alter some of these things if you choose to do so. You just have to know where to go and what to do and all of those things. So yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I love that. I love that. And when you gave, when you did that, that example, it felt so effortless. And I was immediately bought in, even though I knew you was just doing an example. I was like, you're excited. I'm excited too. That's the mirror neurons going off. So I love that. I was on a call earlier today, and it was with my camp consistency, the accountability group. And at the end, I offer support. And I have one person who really wants to create content, right? But she doesn't feel like she's going to have that type of quality, the type of quality that she wants. And she said one thing, she said, well, it's always quality over quantity, right? So I want to get that quantity right. And I'm like, yes, and in the beginning, it's a lot of quantity, right? You got to get your reps in. You got to get your repetition. You got to get your practice in. You got to know what to test, tweak, and polish, right? Without doing the thing first, then you don't know how to create the quality. But once you have a body of work, you can say, okay, let me switch this, shift that, put this over there, and now you have a quality product. So if that's helpful for anybody, I hope that, you know, that gets you out there to doing the thing. Just do the thing.
Yes. Body of work. Okay, I love it, because if you keep suppressing who you are and you do not show up, you don't have anything to compare to. You have nothing to compare to. So a lot of people will take themselves out before they actually have anything to compare to.
Mm-hmm.
If you speak once or twice and it didn't really go so well, you haven't done enough to say that I can't do this. And can't is not a word, like we already decided that. Mm-hmm. So you have to do enough to have a comparison, literally. And you have to just go for it. No one is perfect. Nothing is perfect. We have so much on this earth that we're meant to do. And here's what I want someone to know when it comes to mindset. If you don't try, you don't know what will happen. If you don't show up, no one's going to see you for you to even be able to say that it wasn't good.
Right.
And I just had to say those couple of things, because you gotta start. You have to start somewhere. And there is no perfection. It does not exist. Oh, this is what else I want to say, that I said to the guy that I was talking to in the class. I was letting him know that, what did I tell him exactly? I'm trying to think of the exact words I told him. I told him that there's someone for everyone, and exactly who you are, there's someone that's just waiting for you exactly how you are. Right. So you can't compare yourself to the muscles and all of these other things. Decide. That's right. And decide on who you want to be.
I'm putting him to shame out here. Y'all will never get a client with these guns on Instagram.
Yeah. So, but everyone doesn't even care about muscles, right? Like, so this guy was saying that everyone doesn't even care about it. You're like, oh, I just want to get to my next level. For real. Like, if you're out here and you have information, all people want to know is, can you help me to get to my next level? So I had a conversation with a friend today, and we were talking about just elevation in our businesses and what people actually want. And one thing that we decided on is that people want to know that you have some level of success and that you can actually help them. That's right. Really all they want to know. Like, the crux of our conversation was, what do they want? And it was, they want to know, can you help them to get to the next level? So why are we concerned about what we look like? Can we really do it? Can we really take people to their next level? Can we move people out of their mess to get them to where they need to be? Can we? And if you can't, your looks have nothing to do with it.
Right. I had an interesting download just now as you were saying that, because my initial thought was, well, there are some industries where that is relevant. Like, let's say you're looking for a personal trainer, right? You're not looking for somebody with scrawny arms or they're overweight or things like that. But then I immediately recalled all of the people that are in the process, and they're showing up with a certain level of confidence. They're showing up with consistency. They don't have the body type, but they still have something to offer.
Oh, and let me interject there. So there was a point in my life when I had a personal trainer, this specific personal trainer. And, oh, he was super buff, okay? All right. I mean, I don't know. Things could just pop off of his arm. Nothing. Everything was just, you drop something, it's going boom, boing, all across the room, right? But guess what? He had an assistant. And his assistant was not fit. No, bruh, man was not. When the assistant came in, so what he did was he developed his business so that the personal trainer thing was, I come in and I have a personal trainer with me to give me the instructions and to make sure I stayed on track to do what I needed to do. Am I doing my reps right? Did I do the right amount of reps? All of those things. Am I on the right machine? All of that. His assistant was giving me instructions. So it didn't matter what this dude looked like. He still was getting my body tight, and he did, okay? So yes, what you gave was a great example. If you're in a certain business and your image is what is required for that, it does make sense. But most businesses are not, because everybody is not a physical fitness trainer. You're just not.
Right.
And
right.
you're all not models either.
Yeah.
So why are we doing this to ourselves?
Yeah. And the person with the knowledge, you know, is the person, you know, doing the fulfillment anyway. Like there's coaches that coach football that don't play football, you know, that haven't played football. Different things. What I think the biggest thing that we can land and drop right here is that where there's a will, there's a way. Like this isn't about seeing what is already set up and finding how you fit in with that. This is about finding who you are and expressing that. This is not an outside in job, it's an inside out job, right? And whatever we can do, whatever creative thinking we can, you know, generate to bring us to the point of full expression is the goal, right? To just show up. Like one of my mentors, he's like 80% of your success is in the show up. Just being in the right place at the right time, saying the right thing, right? There's a lot of people that's on this live that probably have never seen my face before, and I probably never even met you. But I might say one thing on this live that you like that might inspire you to go and check out my page and see what else we got going on. And likewise for you, Tomeka, right? So we're in the business of just showing up. And if we can get you to just show up and do the thing, then you're going to be on a slippery slope, but in a good way.
And for me, when I have a message, I just show up. So earlier I did a live and my hair was all back and I didn't have my lashes on, had nothing on my face. And I wear makeup because I want to wear makeup because that's just what I choose to do. Not like I have to wear the makeup or I can't show up. I want someone to hear me say that. If you're on the other side, especially if you're a female, you make a choice to put makeup on your face because you made the choice of how you want to show up in that moment. So earlier I had this message that just couldn't wait. And I didn't have makeup on because today was a spa day. And all I knew was I'm going to get myself together. I'm not worried about being dressed, no lashes, no nothing. I'm just outside. So I decided at that moment I had a message from my audience. I clicked the live button and I went live. I need someone to hear me say that. Don't think however I show up that I have to show up a certain way. Yes, you got to make choices about how you want to show up image-wise. I'm not going to show up busted and disgusted on a regular basis. I'm not going to do that because I want to protect my image and I, have a way that I want to show up. But when I have this message that is just, boom, it's right now. I know it's impactful. Live is happening.
That's dope. That's dope. I want to go live like that. I used to go live like that. I want to go live like that again. I had something. Something was there. What was it? It was good. It was really good. Yeah. Y'all should hear some of these thoughts. I wish I could get it out. No.
Yeah. But I know how it is sometimes, especially on a live, like while one person is speaking, something comes up for you and you want to say it, but all right, let me let them finish. Then you're like, oh, now they said something else. Oh, I forgot what I wanted to say.
It's what actually that actually segues, and I did remember. It was something that it was inspiration over obligation, right? And I think that I want to apply that to more areas of my life. I'm glad that we started off the conversation talking about inspiration over obligation, because whether you put on makeup or not is not based on an obligation. You don't do it because you have to. You do it because you want to, right? So I'm a big believer in moving towards what calls you, right? Moving towards what lights you up, moving towards what excites you. So if I have, like, if I'm procrastinating on something, I'm going to ask myself, hey, do I want to do this thing because I'm inspired to do it, or do I feel obligated to do it? Because if I feel obligated to do it, then I know that there's a good chance that there's some type of fear around it that I'm working through. Like I need to go live 7 times this week, because if I don't, then I'm not going to be able to pay my bills and my kids don't get to eat and all of this stuff. And I'm going to go broke and all this other stuff. Now I feel like I have to do it. But if I go live because there's somebody that, you know, really wants to hear this message, or there's new idea that I want to really share, like you were talking about, that's inspiration, right? And it's gonna set the stage for a whole different experience, right? So let's say that I do feel obligated. Now I might also feel overwhelmed, and that puts me in a position of procrastination. If I even get past the procrastination phase, now I'm showing up with an energy that is like, do you even really want to do this? And that affects your level of attraction when you show up, right? So I want us to become aware of that, and I'm going to start implementing that, you know, starting today, because I found myself trying to force myself to do things, even in a business that I love. I'm trying to do things by the cookie cutter standard that is, perpetrated by the entire industry. Am I inspired, or do I feel obligated to do it? Is going to be the question.
Yeah, I love that. And for me, I'm mostly inspired. Like I stated why I went live earlier, which brings us to what we're talking about. But on a regular basis, I'm inspired. I'm inspired by everything. And I've been sharing with a lot of people that one of the things that I do is I do call the people who are on my list. And a lot of people use their list to just email them and maybe just text them. And yes, we do those things. But there's been something beautiful in me picking up the phone and calling the people on my list and asking them where they are in business and do they have a question. And the funny thing is, maybe about 60% of the time, originally they'll say, "Oh, I'm surprised you called. And no, I don't really have a question," because I'm usually calling them after some interaction. Like I called a lot of the people who were in the class. Now, I don't know how long my voice is going to last, because the class that I just did, there were 100 people in there. So I made it through quite a bit of the list so far. But, so I'm just going to gradually go through. Okay, I'm going to take my time and I'm going to go through the whole list. But when I call them, they're surprised and they say things like, "I don't really have a question initially." As a coach, I know how to make sure that I put them, help them to think before we get off the phone about if they really do have a question. And I'll say something, some thought-provoking question I'll say to them. And then they say, "Oh, yeah, by the way, I would like to know blank." So now we have a further conversation. I get to know more about them. And these things that I'm having conversations with them about are just all sorts of things. And it just gives me more insight in my business because they're telling me what they're really up to. So when I get off those calls, I'm going to close up what I'm saying. I'm inspired to communicate with others about what they just said that they needed. Because here's the thing, in the coaching arena, once you determine who your avatar is, you're talking to the same person over and over again. One person's issue is another person's issue. So if you can respond and address what they have an issue on, now you're able to help everyone, which is beautiful. And this is why we have the course. So those of you who don't understand why the courses are available, it's because the questions are being answered for the people who want the answer in one place.
Right. Right. I love that about our industry. I love that about entrepreneurship, is that, you know, we're all individuals, but we're more alike than we're different. And I think that also speaks to like where we are socially, right? And politically. Like we go back and forth, we bicker back and forth because we focus in on the small differences. But when you realize that a lot of us are having a human experience that is much like so many other people, so many people that you would never think are having experiences similar to yours. I'll get on a group coaching call and somebody would say, "Hey, I'm having a problem with XYZ." I'm like, "Okay, head to the cam. Anybody else resonates with that?" And like everybody does. So that they feel more at home, they feel more, you know, comfortable with expressing themselves. Because we are in our own little bubbles where we feel like we're the only ones going through that. And as a coach, you learn that that's not true. Not only for your clients, but also for yourself, which means that you now have the permission to be genuine, to be authentic, to show up, to not overthink, to give yourself grace, and to celebrate yourself. Because we don't know nothing. Nobody knows nothing about what's really going on in the world. Like, I'm talking like factually, right? Like 90% of the universe is black matter. which is stuff we don't know about. We don't know nothing about. So we know a little bit, and then there's other people that refuse to tap into what we do know. But that's another story.
We have a question. What does moving forward look like when you're not motivated or inspired?
You want to know what's coming for me? Not moving forward when you're not motivated and inspired it looks like being still or finding comfortability in your stillness, because I know that that's what I experience and what I fight against, been fighting against recently, especially when starting a new family, getting engaged, getting married, having a baby. It feels like I need to do, keep being busy and going in a hyperdrive into things that worked when I was starting my business, but aren't necessarily going to work where I am now in business, right? So knowing and realizing that, look, I need to be still until I'm clear on what my next moves are, until I'm inspired to take action so I can show up effectively, is also part of the work, and can be very challenging because you have to deal with that anxiety of, well, if I'm not constantly working, if I'm not constantly doing something, then I'm going to fail. I'm not going to make any money. I'm going to be homeless and things like that. Those are limiting beliefs that, need to be addressed.
So my take on the question, what does moving forward look like when you're not motivated or inspired? Or what do you do? So you said what it looks like. Well, what to do is that, yes, after you be still, now you have to find the motivation. And usually the motivation comes in education. You're usually not motivated or inspired because there's something you don't know. And because you don't know something, you haven't moved forward. When we have the information that we need, we understand exactly what to do and we actually make the moves. So for me, it's going and finding the information about that stuck space that you're feeling that you're in. And where can you get information from? A coach, number one, right? We're here, so I'm going to state the obvious. That is definitely a place. It's a person that has already been on the journey, that understands what needs to be done, that can help you to get motivated and inspired, help you to some degree. Now, I say that because a coach knows how to ask you the engaging questions to get you to where that spot is, to help you to understand what you need to do. And once that's addressed, now you know there's something you need to do. Because you know there's something you need to do, you should be at that point motivated, inspired to get it done so you can get out of that space. Because you can't stay where you are. Another thing I can say about it is that you can also go to places that are accessible to you all day, every day, 24 hours a day. YouTube. And I don't want to just send people there, but it's a great place because if you're not feeling motivated or inspired, you have to go get some info. So go in, you might just click on motivation. Let me tell you, there are days when I wake up and I'm like, I'm usually pretty darn amazing. I'm ready for the world, to take on the world. There are moments I'm like, sheesh, okay, all right, I don't know about this moment. So I type on motivation on YouTube. And the first thing that comes up, I click it and I watch something and I listen until I feel great about that moment, until I heard something that inspires me. Because usually in those motivational snippets, there's something that they say that kicks you into overdrive. Mm-hmm. And if it's not about motivation, it's about what's the problem that I'm having? How do I fix it? And I go and type in that thing and then I get info.
Right. Talking that talk. Can I build on that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because in my journey, I know I shared with you the story about how I learned that you can't approach entrepreneurship the same way an employee would. An employee is all about doing, right? And I had the perception that I was gonna treat my business where I'm gonna clock in, do the things, do everything that they told me to do, clock out, go about my life. And I learned that through, for instance, one of the things that I learned was that positive thinking was important, right? And what I would do is I would wait till things got particularly negative and I would say, okay, now think positive, think positive, think positive, right? And it was always too little, too late. And when I gave up on entrepreneurship, came back to it, I decided I was going to do it a little bit differently. That instead of trying to think positive and instead of trying to be motivated, I was going to just be that. I was just going to be positive. I was just going to be motivated, right? And what that looked like was just creating a habit around it, right? I heard somebody say that motivation, getting motivated is like taking a shower. Like it wears off after time, so you have to redo it, right? So I just created a habit, a routine where I would work out, and during my workout, I'm listening to Motiversity, right? I'm
That's what I
listening
do
to the
too.
track, right? Yeah,
I
Motiversity.
can't just work out. I don't know about y'all. I can't
Right.
just, I can't just be on
Yeah.
the treadmill on the elliptical. Nah, I gotta double time it.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I need
So,
water. Keep
oh
talking.
yeah. So pairing things that motivate you, pairing habits with things that motivate you is a really good hack to just start transforming how you think automatically, right? Because once your subconscious is focused in on a certain idea and it can generate it automatically, now you're not worried so much about trying to generate it in the moment. And a lot of the times when you already feel like I need motivation, is probably a whole nother slew of issues that you also have to address as well, right? Because there's an issue with procrastination when you're procrastinating on something where people automatically, I think the lazy route to go is to just call yourself lazy and be like, that's why I'm not doing a thing. But there was one question that was asked to me that kind of shifted my perception on it, and that was, if you believed 100% that you would be able to produce a certain result if you did the thing, would you be procrastinating? And the answer is always no. Like if I knew I was going to make 10K this month, if all I did was XYZ and got myself up, I wouldn't be worried about getting motivation. I wouldn't be worried about, my procrastination. I wouldn't be calling myself lazy. So that suggests that there's an underlying lack of belief there, right? Do you truly believe that you that you deserve what it is that you're trying to get, right? And it's easier to address those things when you already have motivation taken care of, because I'm motivated, but I'm still not hitting the spot right. Okay, let me go over and look at my belief system. What is it that I'm actually trying to? So you just check that box off when you create a habit around it.
When you were talking about adding on with the habits like the workout and the other thing and doing something else, another word for that is habit stacking. It's something that you do. You called it something, but I know I remember reading, I think I read it in the Slight Edge book, where they were talking about habit stacking. So you called it something, but I just remember that it was in a
I
book.
don't know. I think I might have come across it in Atomic Habits or Eat
Maybe it
the
was Atomic
Frog or
Habits.
something like
I
that.
read that too. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
probably.
I like to put some on. I listen to this Clubhouse when I take a shower, right? So it is a really good way to, start implementing smaller things into your life, right? Smaller habits, rather.
Yeah, and what you also said was it's when a person is not motivated. You touched on this. There's usually something underlying
Mm-hmm.
that's not happening, and that belief system. Usually, when a person starts a business and you're unsure of what the outcome will be, and for you haven't seen the particular outcome you'd like to see, you haven't seen it with anyone, sometimes it's hard for you to actually believe that what you say you want is going to happen, even though you said it or you wrote it. And this is why when we talk about the coach and getting the assistance, usually you get with someone who's done those things, who understands what it looks like in the future to help you along the way, so that when you stumble and you get to a point where you're like, I don't understand where this is and why I feel like this right now, usually your coach has gone through that thing and understands how to pull you out of there because they've already been through it. So when you guys don't understand, like, I know everybody's hearing this thing about getting a coach. You have to understand what it is. It's the person that's been through the mess that you're about to go through already. And the coach understands, okay, well, this is what happened for me, and this is how I got out of it. But I've also, along the way, experienced other people going through it, and I know there are multiple ways to get through this particular thing. So the coach has multiple answers for you, not only by their own experience, but by the other people's experience that they've been around as well. Because usually a coach has some sort of a tribe of people that they've been around to know about everybody else's experiences, and it's just how it goes. And that's why also everyone has to have a tribe, and you have to have a tribe of people that are along the lines with you so you guys can grow together. But you also have to be connected to people who are a little further along. Just have to.
Absolutely. That's the best way around it. You know, we could feel around in the dark. We could stub our toes. We can learn our lessons the hard way. Come on, Alexa. I got a call in 2 minutes. But yeah, it is tremendously helpful to align yourself with people that have already, you know, been through it, can, you know, lay down a path for you. And if not anything else, at least keep you accountable to what you said you were going to do, because that's the only way that you're going to produce that result.
Mm-hmm. Because I don't know about you, but I know when I meet some of my clients like the next week and they're like killing themselves in the last hour or the last day before the next meeting to do something that they were, you know, instructed to do. So that accountability is everything. It's like, oh my gosh. But guess what? However it comes, everyone needs a way to be pushed to get the things done, because I'll tell you this, even if you get pushed like that, and then you get to the point where you actually start doing the thing, you see the results, you produce the results, you'll now have your own energy to do it because you've seen the results. So now you'll be fine by yourself at some point in time. It's just how it goes.
Right. Training wheels.
Yeah, training wheels. I love that. Well, congratulations on just getting married. So, like, did you know you got married today, right? Was it today?
Yeah, yeah, I got married today.
Did you know you was getting married today, or did you just like how did what can you gotta go on your call? You gotta go.
I do, but I didn't know that I was getting married today. I found out yesterday, but we'll jump into the story.
Okay.
So I could jump over here. But it's always so much fun. Thank you for having me. We got to do this again real soon, if not regularly.
Yes, for sure. All right, bye everyone. We'll see you guys next time. We'll definitely be back. So I'm Coach Tomeka James signing off, and
Coach TSPice, love. Happy guts to follow your guts.
All right.